Okay, so are you getting ready for a scraper operator interview?
I hope
Yes, it is.
so.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's
Yeah.
a field with a ton of opportunity, especially if you enjoy hands-on work
Yeah.
and don't mind getting a little dust on your boots.
Absolutely.
We've got a stack of resources here from RoleCatcher, and let me tell you, their AI is really a game changer for tailoring your answers and getting feedback.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Great.
First, let's dig into what you need to know to really ace that interview.
Yeah, preparation is key.
Exactly.
And it all starts with understanding what the role entails. We're
Uh,
talking about operating some massive earth-moving equipment,
yeah.
scraping, loading, prepping sites for construction.
Right.
It can be demanding,
Yeah.
both physically and mentally, but it also offers great pay and a chance to build a really solid career.
And speaking of careers, the guide mentions that the work environment can be pretty tough.
Outdoors, all kinds of weather, dust, noise, you name it.
You got it.
Being adaptable is a must.
For sure.
But let's get to the heart of it,
Okay.
the interview questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
RoleCatcher has a whole bunch of potential questions here,
Right.
and we're going to break down how to approach each one.
All right, that sounds good.
Let's start with a classic.
Okay.
Can you explain your experience operating a scraper?
All right.
Now, it might seem straightforward, but this is your chance to really showcase your skills.
Absolutely.
So don't just list the machines that you've used.
Right.
Instead, think about specific projects where you face challenges
Yeah.
and how you adapted your techniques.
I love that.
Did you ever have to work with, like, unexpectedly hard soil?
Yeah.
How did you adjust the scraper's speed and blade depth to get the job done?
That's a great point.
Those are the things that they want to know.
Yeah, stories make a much bigger impact than just listing facts.
Yeah.
It's about painting a picture of your expertise. And speaking of painting pictures, this next question is all about safety.
Okay.
How do you ensure safety when operating a scraper?
That's a big one.
It's obviously crucial, but
Yeah.
how do you go beyond just the basic answers here?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
All right, good.
Interviewers want to see that you're proactive, not just following the bare minimum.
For sure.
Think about times you went above and beyond.
Okay.
Maybe you spotted a potential hazard that others missed,
Right.
or even helped implement a new safety procedure on site.
Yeah, those actions speak volumes about your commitment to safety.
It shows you're not just thinking about yourself, but the whole team.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to a question that tests your problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
How do you handle equipment malfunctions while operating a scraper?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Everyone breaks down now and then, but how do you handle it?
Right, well, this is where your mechanical know-how comes in.
Okay.
Walk them through your troubleshooting process. How do you diagnose the issue? What steps do you take to try and fix it? And importantly, when do you know it's time to call for help?
Right.
It's okay to not have all the answers,
Right.
but showing a logical approach and prioritizing safety is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And it shows you're willing to learn, which is always a good thing.
of course.
Now, construction sites are notoriously busy, so the next question tackles that head on.
Okay.
How do you prioritize tasks when operating a scraper in a busy work environment?
Right, so it's all about organization and keeping a cool head.
Right.
Yeah, think about a time when you had to juggle multiple priorities.
Okay.
Maybe a tight deadline mixed with unexpected weather.
Oh, yeah.
How did you decide which tasks to tackle first?
Right.
How did you keep your team in the loop and adapt your plan on the fly?
Yeah.
Those are the skills that make a real difference in a fast-paced environment.
And good communication can make or break a project, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, technology is changing everything these days.
It really is.
And the construction industry is no exception.
Right.
So how would you answer this one?
Okay.
Can you explain your experience with GPS systems and other technology used in scraper operation?
Yeah, it's not just about muscle anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
So you're absolutely right. Technology is becoming more and more prevalent in the field.
Yeah.
Highlight your experience with GPS-guided scrapers,
Right.
drones, or any other tech that you've used.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you haven't used a specific system,
Yeah.
show that you're eager to learn and adapt to new technologies.
Right.
It demonstrates that you're not stuck in the past.
Exactly. And speaking of not being stuck in the past, have you ever taken the initiative to learn new software or systems on your own?
Yeah,
Mention that.
absolutely.
It shows that you're proactive and dedicated to staying at the forefront of the industry.
It all comes down to showcasing your ability to embrace new tools and technologies to improve your work.
So we've covered some pretty meaty questions so far,
We have.
but we've got a few more up our sleeve. Before we dive into those,
Mm.
I want to remind you about RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes.
This thing is incredible.
It's amazing.
It analyzes job descriptions,
Mm-hmm.
helps improve your resume and cover letter,
Yeah.
and even provides feedback on your interview answers.
It's like having a personalized career coach right in your pocket.
It is.
It's true.
It really is.
RoleCatcher takes the guesswork out of the job search process.
Yeah,
It can help you tailor your application to each specific job that you're applying for,
right.
which can make a huge difference in getting noticed.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's get back to those interview questions.
Right.
We've still got some important areas to explore, like soil types, maintenance experience, and even your knowledge of environmental regulations.
Right.
These might not be the first things that come to mind when you think about operating a scraper,
Yeah.
but they're becoming increasingly important in today's construction landscape.
Absolutely they are. Okay, so let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a question that might seem a little unexpected.
Okay.
Can you explain your experience with soil types and conditions?
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, I operate a scraper, not a lab.
Right.
But understanding the ground that you're working with is actually pretty crucial.
It's not just about moving dirt, it's about knowing what you're moving.
Right, exactly. Different soils react differently to a scraper. So how do you adjust your technique based on that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you've worked with clay, sand, gravel, rocky terrain,
Yeah.
talk about the specific challenges that each one presented.
Right.
Did you have to tweak the scraper settings?
Right.
Use different techniques to get the desired results?
Right.
This is where your experience shines through.
It's those little details that really show you're not just going through the motions.
Absolutely.
Did you pick up any tricks from a seasoned operator on handling, say, wet clay?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you came up with your own system for marking out those tough, rocky areas.
Right. Sharing those insights shows that you're thinking critically about the work,
Yeah.
not just following a manual. And speaking of getting into the nitty-gritty, here's a question that dives into your technical skill.
Hi.
Can you explain your experience with maintenance and repairs on scrapers?
Yeah.
It's about more than just operating. It's understanding the machine inside and out.
Yeah. Have you ever had to troubleshoot a hydraulic issue or replace a worn-out cutting edge?
Right.
Talk about the steps you took, the tools you used, what safety precautions you followed.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a certified mechanic, showing that you understand the basics of scraper maintenance is a huge plus.
Absolutely. And it's not just about fixing things when they break.
Right.
Preventative maintenance is crucial.
Yes.
Talk about the things you do to keep the scraper in top shape, checking fluid levels,
Yeah.
tire pressure,
Uh-huh.
cleaning and lubricating parts.
Yeah.
Those might seem like small things, but they make a big difference.
It's all about being proactive and taking pride in your equipment.
Exactly.
Now, here's a topic that's gaining a lot of traction in the construction industry.
Okay.
Sustainability.
Yep.
How would you approach this question?
All right.
Can you explain your experience with environmental regulations and sustainability in scraper operation?
So it's not just about getting the job done anymore, but doing it responsibly.
Right. You're right. Construction has a big environmental impact.
It does.
And it's important to be mindful of that.
For sure.
Have you worked on projects that involved erosion control, dust suppression, minimizing noise pollution?
Right.
Talk about any sustainable practices you've implemented or been a part of,
For sure.
even if you haven't had direct experience with those specific practices,
Yeah.
showing that you understand the importance of sustainability and are willing to learn more goes a long way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The industry's changing, and
Yeah.
demonstrating that you want to be part of that change is a huge plus.
It shows you're thinking beyond just the immediate task and considering the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And speaking of thinking ahead, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI for a moment.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about how it can help tailor your answers? Well, it's especially useful for questions like these,
Right.
where you might need to highlight specific experiences or skills.
It's like having a personal research assistant.
It is?
Say you're practicing your answer to that environmental question.
Uh-huh.
You record yourself with RoleCatcher's video practice feature, and the AI analyzes your response.
Right.
It might suggest weaving in a specific example from your past or using a key phrase from the job description.
Yeah.
It's incredibly helpful.
It really takes the guesswork out of interview prep and helps you present your best self.
Yes.
And remember, it's not just for answering questions. It can help optimize your resume,
Uh,
identify your strengths, even help you discover new career paths.
oh, wow.
So as we move on to the next set of questions,
Mhm.
keep role capture in mind. It's a powerful tool.
Now let's dive into some questions that focus on those all-important soft skills,
Okay.
leadership, teamwork, and how you handle those inevitable, stressful situations that pop up on the job.
Sounds good.
All right, let's tackle a question that digs into your leadership skills. Can you explain your experience managing a team of scraper operators? Now, you might not have had an official management title,
Right.
but think about times when you naturally stepped into a leadership role.
Yeah, it's about those moments when you mentored someone less experienced,
Okay.
coordinated tasks, or even stepped in to resolve a conflict on site.
Right.
Those situations really reveal your ability to lead and motivate others.
Absolutely focus on the actions that you took, the way that you communicated, and the positive outcomes that you achieved.
Yeah.
Did you help a new operator master a tough technique?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe streamlined a process that made the whole team more efficient?
Those are the stories that really highlight your leadership qualities, even if you weren't the designated boss.
Exactly. And while we're on the topic of handling tough situations, how would you answer this?
Okay.
How do you handle stressful or challenging situations on the job?
Right.
Construction sites can be unpredictable,
They can.
so interviewers want to know that you can keep a cool head when things get hectic.
It's all about showcasing your emotional intelligence and ability to stay calm under pressure.
Right. Think about a time you faced a tricky situation,
Yeah.
maybe a tight deadline,
Yeah.
a sudden equipment malfunction, or a disagreement with a coworker.
Right.
How did you approach it?
Did you take a moment to assess the situation, communicate clearly with your team,
Yeah.
come up with a creative solution?
Those are the things that they're looking for.
It's about showing you can think on your feet, prioritize safety, and work collaboratively to resolve issues.
And it's okay to acknowledge that you're not perfect.
Oh, for sure.
We all make mistakes.
We do.
But what matters is how you learn and grow from those experiences.
Yeah.
It shows humility and a willingness to improve,
Yeah.
which are valuable qualities in any role.
You're right. It's all part of being a strong team player.
So we've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah, we have.
from the technical aspects of operating a scraper to those essential soft skills that can really set you apart.
It's all important.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. As a scraper operator, you're not just moving dirt. You're literally shaping the landscape.
Wow.
You're contributing to the infrastructure that supports our communities.
That's a great way to put it.
It's a role with real impact. And as technology advances, it's only going to become more complex and in demand.
It is.
So here's something to think about as you embark on this career path.
Okay.
How can you use technology to not just be a skilled operator, but a leader in sustainable construction practices?
That's a question worth pondering.
And remember, RoleCatcher is here to support you every step of the way.
Absolutely.
From crafting that perfect resume to nailing that interview and even exploring new career paths, they've got the tools and resources to help you succeed.
They really do.
So good luck out there, and remember, preparation is key.